Hey, good afternoon. How y'all doing? It is Well Red Beard. It's a damn fine day to talk about a book. All right, let's do it. Let's get wild. Today we are going to talk about The Beast in aisle 34. This is by Darrin Doyle, and this is from Tortoise Books. And this is a fucking fantabulous book. I'm going to give it 4 stars. The reason I'm giving it 4 stars is because I didn't love the ending. We'll talk more about that later. I get the feeling that Darrin has heard that before, that people didn't love the ending. Man, I don't know. I mean, I could go back and forth. I mean, on some levels, it's a perfect ending. On other levels, it's not the ending you want. I will tell you this. A lot of times I come around to a book being 4 stars because it was 3 to 4. This one's not the case. I want to be abundantly clear about that. This is 4 to 5. I thought about 5 stars for this book. This book probably was a 5-star book up until the ending, the build up to the ending as well. Look, it's just a personal taste thing. But all right, you ready for this? It's my favorite werewolf book that I've ever read. Now, you would ask, have I read a lot of werewolf books? And the answer is no, not really. So the next question, I guess, would be, am I going to read a bunch more werewolf books to see if this one maintains that spot? Maybe. I might. I don't know. Anyway, but it is my favorite werewolf book. So write that down and stick it on your refrigerator with a magnet. Or, I mean, don't really do that. I'm just saying. It's a hell of a book, though. Like, I really, really like this book. And so we've got a meek, everyday feller. Our main character is just your average guy. His name's Sandy. I know, right? It's kind of funny. He works at Lowe's. He works in the bathroom fixture section, like the faucets and whatnot. And he gets attacked by a werewolf one night, and he turns. And the funny thing is that, like, at the time this happened, like, his marriage was kind of falling apart. And then next thing you know, he's attacked. He's in the hospital, and before you know it, you're still married, and all those problems have been pushed aside for other problems, and his wife's pregnant. So he is a werewolf. He turns into a beast every full moon, and he's got a baby on the way. So every month he has to come up with a reason as to why he has to disappear for a whole day or for a whole cycle, and getting away for work, doing this, doing that. At one particular point, he goes out on this, they call it LARP, like live action role playing, LARPing or whatever, and goes out with this crew of people. A couple of his friends from work kind of run this thing, kind of run the gig, and he goes out, and of course his character is a wolf man, but he goes out there because, like, it's out in this remote spot, and at night he'll be able to slip away and turn and do his thing. Again, it's another excuse to get away from his wife and not have to tell her that he's a fucking wolf, So, so he does that, and he goes out and he kills a deer, and but one of these guys has like a terminal illness and comes up on him in the woods and begs him to kill him, begs him to finish him. And this would be a decent way to go for a guy that's facing, a couple months of a cancer death, right? And it's a battle, right? It's a battle between the beast and him actually maintaining his humanity. But he does it. Now, does he do it out of rage and anger and teeth and fur and the fact that he's a wolf, or does he do it as a favor to this guy? It's kind of, you can kind of interpret it either way. But so he has tasted human flesh. And because of that and some other things that happen that I'm not going to spend a lot of time in, he kind of goes on the run. And in that, we kind of get it. You get this whole area of the book of, like, introspection and reflecting, and it's got a bit of, he's on the move, he doesn't have a lot of money, he's sleeping under the stars. It's got a whole Krakauer into the wild feel to it. I dug that part. There's just a lot to be said about that part. He basically leaves the Michigan and goes like across to the Upper Peninsula. So we spend a big section of this book in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. But he's been kind of guided towards this lycanthrope anonymous type thing, like an Alcoholics Anonymous, but for wolves. And he thinks it's something that's going to help him. But because he's tasted human flesh, it's this group of werewolves that basically are policing him, right? They're like, you can't exist because you've already, and this and that. And so he's kind of taken captive at one point. We're not going to get too much into it, but they put him in a basement with a gun, and then every time that he's going to turn, they're going to put, like, they open up by putting in a room full of puppies and kittens. And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't end well. It's not overly spelled out, like it's not overly detailed, but if you've got a problem with a werewolf dining on some puppies and kittens, then don't buy this book, I guess. I mean, that's all I can say about it. But the idea is that, hey, you're going to do this. You're going to turn. You're going to destroy these beautiful things. Just end yourself, right? And instead, if you don't do it this time, we're going to put you in there with a human next time. And if you don't do it then, we're going to put you in there with a human the time after that. And so, very, very dramatic scene. And that's about where I want to leave you as far as plot. I mean, he's a werewolf. He's a meek guy, mild-mannered, probably doesn't get a lot of respect in his day-to-day, but once a month he turns into this powerful creature. Again, I was not a huge fan of the ending, but it varies. It varies day to day. I don't know. I don't know. So, but the book is chock full of great one-liners, great paragraphs, certain descriptive things. Like there's one that's just a gobbledygoo of muck when he turns into a werewolf, and I'm probably going to share that with you. But I'm going to share some of these with you. Bear with me. If you don't want to bear with me, if you don't want to hear me read these beautiful things that are in this vampire bloody book, then don't. Go on. I'm going to give it 4 stars, but I'll tell you that 5 crossed my mind, which is, I mean, it will still be like sitting here now, independent small press novels. I'm telling you, it's probably in my top 5 this year, I think. So, but let's find these one-liners, see if I can tell you about this stuff that I liked kind of outside of the story. It talked about what was it? Oh, hell. Anyway, here's a line. Now, let's see if I can figure out the context. But he feared he had died in the attack. Okay, so what he was going through, it felt like hell to him. He had been attacked, right? And he was coming out of it. But he feared he had died in the attack and was now in hell. He had never believed in hell, but disbelief hadn't stopped it from arriving. Ignorance was bliss until flames licked black your skin. I like that. He didn't believe in hell, but ignorance was bliss until flames licked black your skin. I like that line. I'm a line guy, if you haven't noticed. See, what's this next one here? Kind of funny, like, so they're having a baby, right? And they're looking to paint the baby's room, and it's all about non-gendered colors. And someone makes the comment, to a vampire. I keep wanting to say that, to a werewolf, but someone makes the comment, non-gendered colors. I swear, the new liberals, next thing you'll be telling me animals are people too. Well, he is an animal and he is a person. Anyway, you didn't find that funny? I kind of found that funny. But okay, so here's the scene I was talking about when he turns into a werewolf and how it's just this. This story is very straightforward. It's not abstract. It's not hard to interpret things. Things are I mean, it's just a novel. It's just a straightforwardly written novel. But when he turns into the werewolf, pulse of light, strobing purple, yellow, bruised light, orgasms of sputtering black, hairy, heaving teeth, tearing masturbation, cock fountain, oily blood, blasted, steaming, decadent, dead, brownie mash, mud face, puke of cow, cum, risen god, the smoke of baked fleas, snapping bones of children's spines, torn, shaken, waved batons, flailed, striking orchestras of flurry, rain, holy water, shower of barbarian slices, flesh, globe, skinned alive, skinning alive, skin alive. That had to be a fun paragraph to write. I mean, there's not even any punctuation in there. It had to be a fun paragraph to write, I imagine. There's a couple other things here I want to share with you. So, again, he's a meek man, right? He's not, he's an average Joe. It says, when people looked at him, they saw a meek man and powerless, a pushover, Joe Average. But beneath his skin, surging through his veins, was the blood of a destroyer. I dig it. I dig that line. All right, so what are you, man or beast? Sandy understood that the question was a false dilemma. Man was beast. By law and by religious commandment, he had been civilized, but within the cave of his soul stretched subterranean passageways untouched by light. I like that. In the cave of his soul stretched. There's a couple more little ones here. All right, here we go. So, a kill scene with a deer. I wanted to read this to you because it's pretty cool too. He erupted into a sprint covering 50 yards in 2 seconds. The deer scattered. He stayed with the buck as it plunged into thick cover. Branches snapped, thunder crashing under hoof. The werewolf was inescapable. To the werewolf's eyes, the buck's flight looked as if it was churning through tar. A paw strike tore the animal's head in half, brain and bone baptizing the trees. The werewolf feasted. He opened the belly and swallowed guts like hot cookies from the oven. Blood, a liquid emotion in his throat like none he could know in man form. I like the brain and blood, or brain and bone baptizing the trees, and the blood being a liquid emotion in his throat. Man, I dig that shit. Let's see here. I don't care about that one. I'll look for a couple more real quick, and then I'll let y'all get out of here. I've talked for 12 and a half minutes. All right, so yeah. So, he'd grown a beard, right? He'd been out on the run, and he'd probably kept clean shaven, I guess, for work and whatnot. I mean, the wind is going nuts out here. But he'd grown a beard, and he said, I didn't even know I could grow one. And then someone said, running from the law do funny things to a person's hair. Found that funny. Running from the law will do funny things to a person's hair. I want to see if there's anything. So, talking about how humans sabotage themselves, right? And it's a completely human thing. Like other animals don't do this. It says, why were humans the only animals who self-destructed in this way? When was the last time a badger needed counseling because it couldn't stop sabotaging its own happiness? Kind of funny. So this is very dark humor. I mean, there's a lot of dark humor in here. I think I'm about done. I got 3 more things here. I just want to see if there was anything. All right, so that's the scene with the puppies and the kittens. That's why I marked it. And let's see what this is here. Yeah, just a scene about him making up his mind as far as whether to call it quits or do whatever the next thing these people that are holding him captive are going to make him do. That's it. I mean, I dug it. It's a Michigan story. It's a werewolf story, Upper Peninsula story. It's fun. Common man turned werewolf, and there's bits of him, trying to keep it all together, trying to keep his humanity, but trying to keep his day-to-day life intact as well. His job, his family, his wife, his kid. And then, something happens and he goes on the run. And like I said, in that we get kind of a deeper look at him and I mean, through that nature and the wild, and a traveling story again, the Into the Wild type feel, and then the most horrific parts really are, like I said, this abduction part is pretty damn horrific. And then the ending wasn't my favorite part, but it's definitely worth your time. It's definitely worth reading. Again, it's dark humor. It's a werewolf story. It's horror, but it's so much more. It really is so much more than just a werewolf book. I really dug it. I just didn't love the ending. So 4 to 4.5, that is where I am. But again, I'll be talking about it at the end of the year. It's going to be in my top 5. If not, it'll be in my top 10 novels that I've read this year. So, well, Redbeard, this has been The Beast in Aisle 34. It's a novel by Darrin Doyle. It is from Tortoise Books. I need to thank TNBBC at TNBBC on Twitter for getting me this book. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying all your books as much as I am. If not, I've told you before, but you're reading the wrong damn books.